everybody, and welcome back to Linda Tina TV. If it's not your first time here, if it is your first time, please go ahead and click that subscribe button before you go any further. Hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted each time I post a new video. I try to do that every week, not all the time, but I try my best. Anyway, in this video, we're going to be talking about something important. We're going to be talking about money. It is important, right? But particularly, we're going to be talking about how you manage money and accounts as a married couple. So this is a topic that I have discussed on and off with my friends and my sisters and, anyone who's interested. And there are usually different opinions on how people manage their finances as a married couple, and there is no right or wrong, but I thought I'd bring it here to the table and see what you guys think, and just also discuss the different ways in which different people manage their finances in the family. And it could be helpful for someone who's getting married, about to get married, or just thinking about it. So obviously many factors are going to play a role in how you manage your finances as a couple, as a married couple. Who's earning more, who's the main provider in the family, is one of the people in the couple not working or working, your spending habits. There's so many things to talk about. That's why it's very important to have this conversation. If I'm to be very honest, conversations about money make me uncomfortable, and not only with my partner. Way back when we were dating, they made me very uncomfortable. Obviously, now that we've been together for so many years, it's more comfortable, but it still makes me feel a certain type of way. But even with friends and family, conversations surrounding money, finances, and all this stuff just make me uncomfortable. So I'm sure I'm not the only one, but there are conversations you must have in order to be able to decide and to have a peaceful and meaningful understanding, because I've had very many stories of relationships that have fallen apart because of money. Necessary evil, right? So let's talk about the different ways in which you can manage your accounts as a married couple. The first one, having a joint account. This is where if you're both working, all your incomes come into that account. You have no other accounts apart from that main account, which you both have access to and you're both signatories to. People look at this as a way of forming a real bond, because when you marry someone, everything that you share, everything that's between you becomes one, and that includes an account, some people argue. So what are the good things that could come out of this? There is transparency. No one is hiding anything from anyone because you can see everything openly. Also, you know your financial situation as a couple. When kids come in, where are we putting this money? How are we spending this money? It's all out in the open. So you know what your financial situation is. Can we afford this? Can we not afford this? And then the other thing is the transparency. You get to know your person in and out, because there is nothing that they're going to buy that you don't know about. There's nothing that they're going to do that needs money that you don't know about. So it's transparency within the couple. And then also access to finances. If you don't have a joint account and you need to do something for your home and you have to go to the other person, can I please have money to do this? Or can we sit down and talk about this? It just makes it too lengthy. And then, if you have an emergency and you need money from that account, from another account, it makes it all very long and just harder. But when you have one account, there's easy access. You have a card, he has a card, he has access, she has access to the account, and it makes it all so much easier. So many people will argue that a joint account is easier. Some people will say, oh, no, joint account, no. One, because I need to build my own credit. If you have one account, it's in both your names, so you won't be able to build your own credit as an individual. Other people will say when shit hits the fan, separating that account could be a battle on its own, so we'd rather have things separate. Other people say that we have different spending habits as individuals, different priorities. So if my priorities are not your priorities, you're gonna feel a certain type of way. If one person wants to go and shop Gucci and Dolce while you're out shopping in the low budget shops, and it can build resentment probably as well. So there are very many people who argue that it's better to just keep things separate when it comes to money. And that brings me to the next way in which you can manage your account. Separate but not completely. So what do I mean by separate but not completely? That is having a joint account and then separate accounts. So if you are a couple, a married couple, you have your joint account where you remove money for things like the house mortgage, the cars, the car that you're using as a family, if you have children, expenses concerning the children, things that are regarding the homestead. Then you have your individual accounts where each person is free to spend money as they like. If someone wants to go and buy a Lamborghini, they can go and do that and leave the account on zero. And if the other person prefers to save their money and not use it at all, it's all up to them. I feel like this is my favorite way because you remain with a little bit of your independence and your privacy, because honestly, sometimes you're going to buy things that are so irrelevant or spend money on things that could be a bit of an exaggeration, and you don't want someone judging you for that. Your partner shouldn't be judging you anyway, but we're only human. So I feel like having a joint account where each one of you puts an amount of money every week, every month, I don't know, whatever you decide. And this means that at least you are safe as a couple, as a family, and then you can also build projects from this money because it's joint. You can build projects as a couple. Then there is space for some splurging or some privacy, and also to build your personal credit, like I mentioned earlier. This is the most commonly used now, especially with millennials. I think most people have disregarded and have got over the joint accounts, like the completely joint accounts. Some people, depends on your couple situation, obviously. Now, the last way I'm going to talk about in which you can manage your accounts as a couple is by having separate accounts, period. One person has their account, the other one has their account, you split the bills, or one person takes care of all the bills. This really depends on so many dynamics in the relationship and how your finances are really coming in and out. But very many people recently say that probably it's best for a couple to totally separate their finances. Where I come from, actually, very many couples do this. They have separate accounts. I'm not sure how I feel about this, because I feel like when it comes to building a home together and making future plans, having totally separate accounts could make it difficult. Because then if you're building a house, what happens? Every month you put money together towards the house, for example, and then I think in terms of managing the finances, it could be a little bit difficult, but also it helps for individuality, for independence in how you spend your money. It helps to build your credit. I'll repeat that again. It also helps to have that privacy that I mentioned, where okay, you're my partner, but it doesn't mean that you have to be in my finances and how I spend them, how I spend my money, in how I manage my money. I feel like if you're that kind of person who craves for this, because there are people who don't want any privacy between them and their partner, but if you're the kind of person who would like some level of privacy, this could be a good way, having separate accounts. Having separate accounts could also be a means of having joint contribution towards the home. It's not like there's just one person spending more than the other. And also it removes that resentment and that guilt of, oh, I'm spending too much. He's seeing or she's seeing how I'm spending. There's no guilt because you're managing your finances on your own. And then if one person feels like they're putting in too much, if you have a joint account, for example, in this case, that's not there because we're probably putting the same amount or we're putting a decided amount, just having a pool of money there in which, one person is putting more than the other and one person is removing more than the other. So I don't know, guys. I would like to hear from you. How do you manage finances as a married couple, whether you have children or not, whether you have big plans yet, maybe you're a new couple? It's a very interesting topic for me because with most of the ways in which you can manage money, I feel there are so many other determinants, and so there is no right or wrong way. You need to understand who you are as individuals, how much you're making, how much you're spending, your future plans, your future goals, and also your habits as a couple and as individuals. So there is no right or wrong way. This was just a general discussion on what's out there. I would be interested in hearing from you. Like I mentioned, if you haven't subscribed, please do that, and see you in my next video. Bye bye.